Hey everyone, it's Joyel and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, this is kind of a topic that a couple of people have asked me to speak about, which is kind of how I have been able to grow and maintain my length over the last 2 years. But of course, before we get started, please don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. Also, if you are the owner of a Black-owned business, please send me an email at sharmainejoyel@gmail.com. But also, before we get started, let me introduce you to this week's promo. So I'd like to introduce you guys to TNT Beauty Supply. I know that with this quarantine, there is a lot of places that are still closed down. So how nice is it to know that you can go online and shop for all of your beauty supplies on a Black-owned website. You can find brands such as I Am, Shea Moisture, Eco Styler, The Main Choice, which I know a lot of us love, Oars, and you can even find styling tools, braiding hair, and for those of you that do wear your hair in protective styles such as weaves, you can find bundles there as well. And I know for a lot of us, sometimes we don't have a lot of Black-owned beauty supply stores located near us, so again, it's super convenient to be able to buy our things online, and how comforting again is it to know that you're buying from a Black woman-owned website. You can also shop for braid and lock supplies, styling tools, lashes, hair extensions, and even other accessories. So go ahead and check them out at stylistsolutions.pro/TNT Beauty Supply and help support another Black-owned business. Alrighty, and with all that said, let's get started. I often get comments, or I often get asked how I have been able to grow my hair out to the length that it currently is and how I have been able to maintain that length. I have now been 2 years fully natural as of April 7th of this year. But I do think it's important to also point out that genetics also plays a huge part in how long your hair is going to grow, how well your hair is going to maintain its length as well. Although there are a lot of things you can do to kind of help that process, please note that genetics play a huge part in this. For me, my hair has, well, when I was younger and my mom was taking care of it, even with texturizers, she was able to like comb it out and it would be, you know, down middle of my back or probably just past the middle of my back. So I know that my hair can grow pretty long. I haven't had my hair that long since I was a child, and when I had my relaxers, my hair really never grew past just above my shoulders. It was always breaking off, mostly because it was very unhealthy and the chemical was very, very harsh on my hair. I think one of the best tips I can give to a natural is to get a satin bonnet. Protecting your hair at night against rubbing against your pillows or your pillowcases, or even just buying a satin pillowcase cover is going to greatly reduce the amount of breakage that you will experience. So I never really used to cover my hair very often even when I was relaxed. And when I did, I would sometimes just use a cotton bandana and just wrap it around the top of my head, and would often leave my ends exposed. I wasn't very knowledgeable in how to really take care of my hair at night, and so therefore I never really had long hair. I never really gave my hair a chance to be protected and to maintain that length. Wearing a satin bonnet at night is going to reduce the amount of friction that your hair goes through while you're tossing and turning, and therefore your hair won't have the opportunity to basically snap off after rubbing against your sheets. I think not protecting your hair at night is one of the biggest mistakes you can make for your hair. And oftentimes I notice that girls who experience a lot of breakage, it's because they are not wearing any sort of protection, whether that's a satin scarf, satin bonnet, or again a satin pillowcase. Protecting your ends is very, very important. Although we have thick hair, or we have a lot of hair, it's also very, very fragile, especially 4C hair, or the type 4 hair type. So even though I have a lot of hair and it's very dense, I have to remember that it's very, very fragile, and so I have to take those necessary steps to further protect it in order to help maintain the length that I have been able to achieve. Next is obviously not using any heat. I know some naturals will often kind of use a blow dryer to help stretch out their hair. I don't use any heat on my hair. I haven't used heat on my hair since basically before I was natural. I just use the banding methods or like chunky 2-strand twists to help stretch my hair. That's how my hair is right now. My hair is stretched, and I did that using, the chunky 2-strand twist and using hair ties and my snappy hair ties to then band my hair. I have a video on that, and I'll try and link that up above here for you guys. You know, and I also haven't even used a flat iron or done any sort of silk press on my hair whatsoever. I'm not against straightening your natural hair. I do, however, think it's there's just so many things that can go wrong with straightening natural hair, because again, our hair really is much more fragile than I think a lot of people assume. So that's one of the reasons I have not yet straightened my hair. My sister and I may attempt doing that this weekend by just, you know, blow drying and then, you know, just kind of, you know, pressing it. I'm not gonna, I'm still really scared. We're gonna try to use a lot of heat protectants, and I'm hoping, you know, my hair will revert back, but, you know, not using any sort of heat via a blow dryer or flat iron at all on my hair. No curling irons to kind of, you know, greater define, you know, the stretched look. None of that. You know, no blow dryers. I don't use any of that. The next big thing is very, very low manipulation. I don't just mean with not touching your hair, but I mean even with detangling your hair throughout the week. So the only time I ever take any sort of tools the only time I ever take any tools to my hair is on my wash day, and that's when I'm detangling it with my wide tooth comb. I'm assuming Talmadge is using his toilet. Do you need help, or you got it? Did you potty? Good job. You need help putting your panties back on? Did you poop? Did you poop? Yeah? Yes or no? You need help putting panties on? Okay. Ow! You peed on them. Or something. Just a little bit. Okay. Alright, come here. Come here. Are we putting them... Are we putting your panties on? Yeah, that a boy. Come here. Yeah, good job. I love potty training. But basically, keeping the amount of manipulation and the amount of time that your hands are really in your hair very, very low. So, the only time I ever use any tools, again, is... Damn it! Shh! Little boys are literally their own species. Lord have mercy. Can you go hang out with Grandma so I can film quietly? Lord have mercy. Children. Alright, where was I? So the only time that I ever use any tools on my hair is on wash day, and that's with my wide tooth comb that I use to detangle my hair. And I do that only after having deep conditioned and then putting more regular conditioner in my hair in order to ensure I have enough slip so that I'm not ripping or tearing my hair. And then besides that, you know, is when I'm applying my leave-ins, you know, is when my hands are in my hair, or when I'm stretching, which is again doing the twisting and the banding method, which I only retwist maybe once or twice, 3 times at the max throughout like a week and a half period, if it starts to kind of start losing some of its length or some of its stretch. It's super important to keep your hands out of your hair. Again, our hair is very, very fragile, and the more you're like touching it, the more tools you're using in it, the more combs, brushes, all that crap, you're increasing the chances of more and more hair coming out, breaking off. And I often preach that for at least for the first year of your natural hair journey, don't touch your hair. Like, don't do any protective styles, don't wear any wigs, don't do a whole lot of manipulation. Again, the whole first year of your natural hair journey is kind of you getting to know your curl pattern, getting to know your porosity, getting to know what kind of products your hair likes the best or works best with, and also you're kind of giving your hair a break from all of that stress and manipulation. You're really giving it a head start to flourish. You're giving it the opportunity to flourish and to start off not only getting to know your hair, but also starting off in a healthier state. The next big tip I have is deep conditioning. I started to notice my hair really started to flourish even more once I started introducing deep conditioning with a hotheads cap or a deep conditioning cap. So if you're low porosity, introducing that one instance of heat during the week, you know, it's not like extreme heat. I'm not talking like flat iron or blow dryer heat, but just kind of like steaming your hair with your deep conditioner is really going to help open up the cuticles in your hair to get that moisture in there and really rehydrate and get any other nutrients that your deep conditioner provides into your hair. Again, you know, these are tips that I'm giving from my experience on my hair journey, but the deep conditioning really, really helped. It added the moisture that my regular conditioner just wasn't able to do. I really use regular conditioner just to really help detangle my hair after the deep conditioning process, again, to provide that slip that I really want and need in order to get the comb through without like ripping and tearing my hair. But deep conditioning with the hot heads cap, or you know, with whatever dryer you have, or even just, if you're like me, sometimes I'll just go outside in the Arizona sun and just stand outside with, you know, my deep conditioner and my plastic bag on. But deep conditioning in general, whether that's just letting it sit on your hair for an hour, is really, that is the time for your hair to kind of bounce back after the whole shampooing process, after having been stripped and cleansed, which is also important. But you really need to re-add that moisture and that hydration into your hair. Natural hair loves water. Type 4 hair loves water. It needs water, which is contrary to popular belief on black women's hair. You know, water is a really big factor in, you know, the health of our hair. Speaking of water and hydration, don't be afraid to take your leave-in or your hair milk or your hair moisturizer and re-moisturizing your ends throughout the week as well. Note, oils are not moisturizers. Oils help lock in moisture. It's the moisturizers, the leave-in conditioners that are going to re-add that moisture and hydration into your hair. Another big thing is making sure your ends are staying hydrated. Most of the time, it's your ends that are going to be the driest part of your hair, because the oils, because our hair is kinky and coily, it takes our natural oils much longer to get down the hair strands, and so often your ends are kind of like, and so your ends are oftentimes the last part of your hair that's going to receive those natural oils. So making sure that your ends are being not only taken care of by the satin bonnet, but making sure that you're re-moisturizing them throughout the week as necessary. You don't have to do it every day. I probably will re-moisturize my ends every 3 to 4 days is about how my hair has been doing. Today I did just that. I used a really light misting bottle to just, you know, spritz my ends, and then I used my TGIN buttercream daily moisturizer and then rebanded and retwisted my hair today, or this morning. But you need to make sure your ends have the strength to maintain its length so that they're not, you know, fragile and brittle and breaking off. And then probably my last tip for you would be to, especially if you're brand new to your natural hair journey or it's something that you've struggled with, which is, don't have expectations for what your curl pattern is going to be. Let your hair kind of show you what it's going to look like. For me on my natural hair journey, I already kind of had an idea that I had type 4 hair, but I wasn't sure exactly, you know, what the curl was going to look like, if I was even going to have any curls, which is it's more honestly like kinks and coils, obviously. But oftentimes I see and hear a lot of naturals who expect their hair to either look like, you know, a type 3 hair type, or expect it to kind of look defined on its own, or just, you know, naturally curly coily, and they try to do a lot of manipulation to make it defined. I accept your hair type and accept your hair pattern as it is. You're gonna save yourself so much turmoil, basically. And honestly, that's kind of the whole point of the natural hair journey, is to accept your hair as it is. And, you know, it's a part of you. And the more that you accept it how it is, the easier time you're going to have in taking care of it and finding the needs of your hair in order to take care of it. You're gonna have better results. So don't expect it to come out a certain way. Don't try to change it or treat it differently than how it's looking. So if you have type 4 hair, don't treat it like type 3 hair. And if you have type 3 hair, you can't treat it like type 4 hair. You know, if you have low porosity, don't treat it like high porosity, and vice versa. Just kind of listen to your hair as it starts to grow out, and you're honestly going to have a much easier time. And if you don't have any expectations and you're just taking care of it, honestly, your hair is going to be much healthier, which is the ultimate goal of the natural hair journey, is to have healthy, thriving hair. But I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to all these tips. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that this helps you on your natural hair journey and helps you to kind of, you know, start to learn how to maintain your hair length. But of course, you know, again, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. Keep blooming, and I'll see you guys in the next video.